what next for Israel Adesanya? But before we get into that, listen, man, let's celebrate the win first. Let's celebrate the win for Nassourdine Imavov. A fantastic win for him. Now he's on since that no contest with Chris Curtis, he's on a lovely 4-fight streak. Good wins in there, a couple of finishes, one of which against the former champion. Nassourdine, what next for him? Any ideas?
I'll be honest, Adam, when this card was matched and this in particular fight, I seen it and I thought, that's a very tough fight for Adesanya. I've been a big fan of Imavov. I think he does everything very well. Young and hungry and, Izzy was doing his thing. He was looking well. But, this style, I seen, it was actually Kenny Florian who pointed this out before the fight. I was watching a breakdown and he did say he does this lean back thing. He's doing this lean back thing and it worked really well against Robert Whittaker. Lean back, bang. But guys are seeming to get onto this thing that he does now. And I feel like that was the kind of thing that got him caught in the fight. It was a little bit of a technical error. He was doing really well in the first round using his range. When Israel Adesanya has you at range, it's really difficult to break the range. But every now and then he will do this lean tendency that he has. And I feel like that's kind of what got him caught. Because when you lean at him, I feel like you're off balance and you can't really move out the way. And with him being a tall middleweight, he seems to be able to do it and get out of the way. But here, I feel like his legs were caught underneath him. Imavov managed to close the distance really nice and land the shots. And once it hit the ground and pound was sensational. And it was a good stoppage in the end, in my eyes. And that's my take on it.
So what's the next thing for Imavov then? After a victory like that, what's the next thing for him?
If I'm Imavov,
I've got a suggestion for you.
Go on. Go out there. I'll tell you what I think of it.
Right, listen, coming up this weekend, UFC 312, we've got the title fight in that division, haven't we? Right, so that's taking place. For me, the next guy in line right now, after what he did to Robert Whittaker, is Khamzat Chimaev.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
So with all due respect to Imavov, yeah, it's a great victory against Izzy, but there is this bottleneck that is appearing at the top of 185. Chimaev's the top of the bottleneck, so let him go. Imavov's in and around that mix, but there's also another fighter that's in and around that mix, and I think it's the perfect eliminator fight. For me, you team him up against Caio Borralho. That's what you do. You put them two boys in together. I think it's an absolutely fantastic fight, really good stylistically. You could do it in the middle of the year, and that might lead to something by the back end of the year where either one of them is challenging for a title, maybe against the Khamzat or against the Dricus/Sean, whoever comes out the back of that. That's what I'd do next with Imavov.
Wait, so hold on. So you'd put him in against Chimaev?
No, I put him in against Borralho. That's who I put Imavov in with. Imavov and Borralho. Chimaev is fighting for the title next. He doesn't need to fight again for me. He's just done Robert Whittaker. So Chimaev, sit there, wait until see what happens this weekend at 312. Whoever wins that, you're fighting Chimaev. Then I'd make that little eliminator between Imavov and Borralho. The winner of that then takes on the winner of whoever wins this weekend against Chimaev.
No, make him down for it. Listen, especially Borralho at the minute as well. He's looking like a world beater. Superb. Young, hungry. The pair of them. I mean, I've been really impressed with both of them two guys. Chimaev has really put himself above everyone else with that Robert Whittaker win. I mean, I think we can all agree with that. The devastating fashion that he managed to do it in and how good he looked in that fight. I think he's really separated himself from the crowd. But the Borralho fight, I didn't even see that one coming, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Sign me up.
Now then, there's going to be chat about what happens next with Israel Adesanya. That is 3 on the spin that he's lost. Obviously, 2 title fights in the one at the weekend, the main event against Imavov. He says, listen, I'm going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to go away. I'm going to think about it. I spoke to him last week, and he said, I'm not going to be one of these guys that just keeps doing it and keeps chasing it, keeps hoping. If it's not there, it's not there. That's when I'll call time. He's obviously got to come to peace with that. What do you think happens next?
Right. So here's my take on the Israel Adesanya situation, right? Israel Adesanya has been competing in combat sports. Let's take MMA out of the occasion. Before that, he was a world-class kickboxer. He's also had professional boxing matches. Do you know how many fights and how many camps this man has had? Do you know how much money this man must have in his bank now and his assets? I heard he's very smart with his investments and things like that. He's at a very difficult stage now. People like Imavov are starving at him. They're absolutely chomping at the bit. Caio Borralho, chomping at the bit. Hamzat Chimaev chomping at the bit. I just don't see Adesanya chomping at the bit anymore. I feel like he's had an unbelievable amount of fights for a guy of, I believe he's 35. I think personally, after, the way it ended, also the way it ended against Dricus, you don't want to be that guy that was a champion and then gets TKO'd back to back to back to back. Personally, I would like to see Adesanya hang it up because he's got nothing more to prove in this sport. I put him as the second best, just behind Anderson Silva. I've admired his work for a hell of a long time, and I would love to see him ride off into the sunset and enjoy it because he's been one of the most active and consistent champions for a hell of a long time. And I think it's time for a rest. I do.